What's going on there, everyone? Well, this is a pretty interesting story. It shows that, in my opinion, this is the way you go about trying to educate these progressive activist liberals. Liberals, I say loosely, because they're not very liberal at all. But yeah, this is how you do it. Instead of belittling or berating one of these uneducated leftists, educate them. You know, let them know some facts about situations because generally they don't know anything. They live in an echo chamber. They're just repeating things. They don't do independent research. So we can help them with that, you know? And don't do it in a slimy way because I have a habit of it too sometimes when I'm on social media sites of sitting there and getting into a heated debate or something with some progressive. And then I'll, because it's kind of easy to beat them in debates because they don't have that much knowledge, even though AOC says they do. No, they don't. They don't do their own research. Let's get into the story. From the Daily Wire. Milano wants to know why self-defense is a God-given right. Cruz educates her. Far-left activist Alyssa Milano inquired on Sunday about whether self-defense was a God-given right, and she promptly received a first-class education from Senator Ted Cruz, Republican of Texas, on the subject. Can someone cite which passage of the Bible states it is a God-given right to own a gun? Milano tweeted. This guy is unbelievable and is clearly owned by the gun lobby. Milano's tweet was directed at Texas State Representative Matt Schaefer, who delivered a blistering rebuke to anti-Second Amendment advocates in response to this weekend's tragedy in Odessa, Texas, in which a man went on a shooting spree after being pulled over by troopers, taking the lives of 7 people and injuring over 20. Which we can all agree is a tragic, horrible situation. It also goes back to the mental illness situation, because this guy was just fired from his job and he went postal. It's more in line of the mass shootings, unfortunately, that we've seen in the past. That's usually what stuff was about back in the day. Now it's become political, which is a frightening turn of events. Cruz responded with a 10-tweet thread beginning, an excellent question, worth considering carefully without the snark of Twitter. It is, of course, not the right to a modern-day firearm that is God-given, but rather the right to life and the right to liberty. Essential to that right to life is the right to defend your life and your family. The right to self-defense is recognized repeatedly in the Bible. Example, Exodus 22:2. If a thief is caught breaking in at night and is struck a fatal blow, the defender is not guilty of bloodshed. Note, though, verses 3 says it is murder if during the daylight, i.e., not self-defense. Cruz continued, the Declaration of Independence acknowledges our rights thusly. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. God, you gotta love our founding fathers. They knew what they were doing. And for that reason, the Second Amendment provides the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It wasn't to protect people's ability to hunt or shoot target practice, but to defend their lives, their homes, and their families, Cruz continued. Stephen Wilford exercised that fundamental right when he risked his own life to stop the Sutherland Springs murderer, saving countless others as a result. St. George Tucker, one of the most important scholars in early America, explained the reasons behind the Second Amendment as follows. This may be considered as the true palladium of liberty, palladium of liberty. The right of self-defense is the first law of nature, Cruz continued. In most governments, it has been the study of rulers to confine this right within the narrowest limits possible. wherever the right to keep and bear arms is, under any pretext whatsoever, prohibited, liberty, if not already annihilated, is on the brink of destruction. This guy knew. I mean, you gotta give it to Ted Cruz. I mean, the guy's smart. He's smart. He's well versed in a lot of things, a lot of different subjects, and he's breaking it down to where someone might be able to understand it a little bit better. Especially someone on the left who generally refuses to understand anything, just through sheer ignorance. They choose to not believe anything. You know, when it comes to gender and sex, they refuse to believe science, and they want to just make up their own thing. We see this all the time. Many examples. That's also why post-Civil War, disarming black Americans was a critical objective of the KKK and was memorialized in countless Jim Crow laws. To strip African Americans of their God-given right to self-defense from violence, Cruz continued. I am a Texan. What happened in Midland, Odessa, and El Paso, Santa Fe, and Sutherland Springs was sick, deranged, and horrifying. We need to do much more to stop violent criminals and those with dangerous mental illness before they murder, and I'm leading the fight in the Senate to do so. Cruz concluded, playing politics with these deranged crimes and trying to use them as an excuse to violate the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizen won't make anybody safer. Forcible gun confiscation, as some 2020 Dems urge, especially Beto O'Rourke, which thank God he doesn't have a chance, won't prevent mass murders, but it will weaken our self-defense. Which is true. Milano, who recently came out and bragged about 2 abortions, that was unnecessary to add, really, to this particular story. She had when she was younger, did not respond to Cruz's reply to her. She didn't need to respond. And I commend her for not responding, because the only thing she could have really responded with was just leftist shenanigans. And you know, just berating him with nonsense. Maybe something he said might have actually clicked with her. Maybe it kind of made sense to her, which it should have, because he did a pretty good job laying that out. A very good job. But yeah, so, it's interesting. What's really interesting to me is that she didn't reply. To me, that either means she was embarrassed, or she actually may have took something from it. I know the latter is probably not the case. But who knows? I know we're never going to see these Hollywood progressives probably change unless they're hitting the pocketbook. You know, just like how most people deal with change. When it hits them financially, they'll actually, you know, try to come around. But she shouldn't have to be berated by us on the right. She's clearly not knowledgeable about most situations. So, this is what we should do, people. We should educate. That's why I always say healthy debate and dialogue is the best way to go about anything. Sometimes when we have differences in opinions and all that, we need to talk about them. Because generally when you get down and sit down and go through the nitty-gritty with people, they do come away with a little bit of a different perspective. And that goes for people on the left and the right, talking from the left and the right positions. You can see it kind of clearly when it comes to the right. The right has actually moved towards the center more. We're more centrist, less staunch conservatives. That group has grown too, but not to the extent as people from the right, moving more towards center, you know. The Democratic Party used to have the liberals, you know, actual liberals. A lot of those people consider themselves more conservatives now because the left has gone so far left and is so extreme in their nonsensical thoughts and behaviors. But, yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting. I just wanted to put this article out there. and let everyone know this is how you go about trying to either change the minds or just offer some clarity to the demented progressive leftists. But I'd love to hear your comments. And today is a holiday, so get out there, enjoy your burgers and your fries and your hot dogs with your family. That's what I should be doing here. It's almost noon, so I gotta fire up the grill. Got family coming over, and I'm gonna try to make at least 1 or 2 more videos today. We will see how that goes with the crazy atmosphere around. So, as always, like, share, and subscribe. I will catch y'all on the flip side.